1851, and the small colonial town of Melbourne has caught a fever.
Have you ever held a bar of gold? It's very heavy, but you somehow start scratching at it. You want to have some. It does have a certain magic allure about it, and particularly to people in the 19th century, because it was a way of getting suddenly rich, and it was legal.
Word of mouth runs through the streets of Melbourne and its immediate suburbs that there's gold to be found, that there's wealth to be made, and it's within the reach of anyone who can get to the diggings as quickly as possible. Hundreds, thousands of people downed tools, left their jobs, left their families and headed up country. There's a premium on wheelbarrows, on blankets, on all sorts of paraphernalia to take to the diggings. By the time they get out to Diggers Rest and further up towards the diggings, the tracks are littered with the now unwanted paraphernalia of mining as people throw away all their encumbrances simply in an attempt to get the diggings as soon as possible.
Gold has already been found in New South Wales, but the wealthiest gold fields in the world are within 100 miles of Melbourne. The precious metal lies just inches from the surface. And in their fervour to get rich, the thousands who come here tear at the earth, leaving it scarred like a battlefield. This is Australia's first mining boom, and the long fight to grab the riches has begun.
If you arrived on a goldfield like this, you would look around and see what looked like to be the best spot. The further into the gully you went, the deeper the gold was going to be. The further back, the shallower, and therefore it was a bit easier to dig. The main thing was that if you marked out a claim for yourself, you had to be actively digging on it. You couldn't just be bagsing all these bits of land for yourself and not be digging on them. Gold could absolutely change your life overnight. And it wasn't just wealth. I mean, I think this is really important to understand, is that gold represented autonomy. It represented being your own master. It represented not having to work for wages anymore. So it wasn't just the kind of bucks in your pocket that was important, but it was the freedom and independence that the whole gold digging lifestyle represented.
The fields may offer the chance of a golden future, but striking it rich is no sure thing. Mining is a gambler's game.
Your chances of getting rich on a gold field would have depended really on three things. Firstly, whether you had any geological knowledge. On my reading, the vast majority of the people in the rushes didn't have. Your ability to work hard and persevere. And thirdly, having found something, you then had to keep it. You had to somehow dodge the pubs, not get it stolen from you, and there were some brigands around. A lot of the people were armed. And so if you survived those three hurdles, you got rich, and I don't know what the odds are, probably about 1 in every 100 or something like that.
The odds may be long, but the promise of vast sums of money brings a rush of humankind not seen before or since. Mining is shaping the fate of the nation and is now the catalyst for the first international mass migration into Australia. A multiracial land is born.
Gold is a phenomenal magnet. It reaches really across the whole world. So people are coming not only from Britain and Ireland, as they had before, but they're coming from North America, coming from Northern Europe, they're even coming from China.
For every person already living in Victoria, another 5 arrive. Within a single decade, the gold boom will push the population to more than 500,000. By 1853, Melbourne is the fastest growing city in the world, but it can't cope.
You had people arriving so fast There was simply not enough accommodation. So they begin to create new buildings. In the first 6 months of 1853, they built 1,000 buildings in the central city of Melbourne. And then when they finally have no more accommodation, the authorities allowed the building of a canvas town, a tent town, on the south bank of the Yarra, just to accommodate the sheer numbers of people who are coming.
The sailcloth that powered the migrant ships is torn down and used as makeshift shelter for 10,000 homeless diggers. A vast campsite in Australia's first modern city.
The nearest comparison was probably like a third world shanty town or favela. Poor water supply, poor sewerage. For many people, life was pretty grim. It was exciting if you made gold. It was exciting if you were on the way to get gold and you had enough money in your pockets to make your way there. But if you'd come back and you'd run out of money, then it was a pretty desperate place to be.
But in spite of what awaits them, the hopeful immigrants keep on coming, and mining changes the face of a continent. Within a few short years, 1 in 10 Victorians will be Chinese, and they'll make up 1/5 of all the miners on the goldfields.